St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister faces protest action in Barbados. And in sport, Windward Islands Volcanoes into the weekend's final of the Regional Super 50. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Friday, February 23rd. I'll be back with the details after the break.
And add some water to create a slurry. Now add your seasoned pork to this curry mixture and give it a good mix. You want all the curry flavors and the jeera especially to soak into the meat. And you just want it to reduce, and you'll see the pork starting to stick to the bottom of the pan, and that's what you want. As it starts sticking to the bottom of the pan, add some hot water to cover it.
Okay, so now we're gonna season the chicken. The chicken is being washed, so we're gonna season that now. Okay, so this is a blend of celery and shallot that we keep in the fridge. Okay, so you're gonna mix that all in there.
We begin in Barbados, where a lecturer at the Cayville campus of the University of the West Indies was among a group of protesters who disrupted a public lecture given by St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves last night. Gonsalves was visiting the campus to deliver a lecture on natural disasters when political science lecturer Dr. Christina Hines and two other women carrying placards stood chanting justice for women. Their action comes amid rising public pressure on the Vincentian Prime Minister over his handling of the matter, in which a former model, Yogi Farrell, claims to have been involved in an extramarital affair with his son, Camilo, the country's finance minister. The protesters shouted, "Women lives matter too, not just black lives."
Not just black lives. We don't just want to help with natural disasters. We want to help to ensure that our political system guarantees justice for all. Justice for all.
I wonder.
Justice for all.
I wonder if my dear sisters, at some appropriate time.
This is appropriate.
No, just bear with me now. Just bear with me.
We have been bearing, sir.
At some appropriate time, I am prepared to have a discussion with you with all of those issues which you have raised. I think they're important issues.
They are important issues that require addressing, not silence, not dignified silence.
We came here to hear the Prime Minister now.
Over the last 10 years, over the last 20 years, I will not be silenced, just as Mr. Tommy John is not silenced for all that he believes in. Justice for women and for all. This is the way we will be heard, because this is the only way women are going to get heard on this issue.
The protest is said to have lasted for 10 minutes before security personnel escorted the women from the lecture hall. Over in Trinidad and Tobago, the driver of a garbage truck caught on camera dumping trash onto the street during a protest in East Port of Spain is expected to appear in court today. Lance Cupidor was on Thursday charged with obstruction and littering. Police say he was questioned on Monday following the protest staged by residents over the killing of Akel James, also known as Christmas. Cupidor claims he was ordered at gunpoint to dump the garbage on the road. If found guilty of the obstruction charge, he could be fined $200 TT and be imprisoned for up to a month. Cupidor could also be fined $4,000 or spend up to 6 months in prison if found guilty of littering. Still in the Twin Island Republic, President of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, Ansel Roger, has responded to the announcement that government-owned oil company Petrotrin plans to split its operations into two separate businesses. Roger told local media that any attempts to reorganize the company must be discussed with his union, which represents most of the workers there.
They are without the ideas to rescue Petrotrin, and any reorganization or reorganizing Petrotrin has to have the total involvement of the recognized majority union, and in this case it is the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. We would have a lot to say about that.
Well, it's been suggested that it is too soon to assess the viability of the Petro, Venezuela's newly launched cryptocurrency. The suggestion from Vice President of Enterprise Integration and Sales BIT Inc., Roland Haggins, who was the featured speaker yesterday at a lecture on Bitcoin and blockchain technology organized by the Open Campus of the University of the West Indies and the Barbados Central Bank. Venezuela launched its digital currency in response to the economic blockade from the United States. During Tuesday's launch, President Nicolas Maduro said the currency is backed by the country's crude oil reserves. Haggins said using the assets of a country to back its digital currency is a good thing.
But an asset-backed currency, if it really is truly backed by these assets, could be something valuable. So in the future, potentially we're going to see, and this is looking way down the line, many countries start to issue asset-backed currencies, and then the value of their currencies will be reflective of the resources that those countries have.
Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next. Tyrone Theophil strokes a high-class 100, while all-rounder Kavim Hodge produced an electrifying all-round effort to stun Guyana Jaguars and thrust Windward Islands Volcanoes into Saturday's final of the Regional Super 50. Volcanoes marched to a 52-run victory under Duckworth Lewis and will now face defending champions Barbados Pride in the championship finale. Let's look back at the second innings of the second semi-final in Antigua. Well, we don't have that for you at this moment, but we'd like to let you know that they held all the aces once they piled up the 286 for 7 off their 50 overs, with the right-handed Theophil lashing 107 off 104 balls. His maiden list 100 to turn the page on a wretched run of form. Hodge carved out an attractive 57, while Test batsman Kirk Edwards scored 27 and veteran opener Devon Smith 25. Left with the burden of completing the highest successful run chase of the tournament, Jaguars' target was then revised to 284 off 47 overs following the final of several rain breaks during the innings, but they never found momentum and they lost wickets, steadily collapsing to 231 all out, and that was at 44.2 overs. Now to football. Parfit Williams, a 21-year-old Bermudan forward, has been snapped up by a top club in Slovenia after being released by English Premier League side West Ham United last summer. According to reports in the United Kingdom, Parfit Williams became a free agent after his 2-year contract expired in the London club and was not renewed. Now he has been given a new lease of life in Europe after signing for Slovenia club. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Have yourselves a good afternoon.